My father, Anthony Fisher, was born in 1915. 2 years later, his father was killed by a sniper's bullet in Gaza. Then at the beginning of the Second World War, he and his brother were fighting in the Battle of Britain when his brother was killed. This profoundly affected his view of the world and his determination to fight totalitarianism. At the end of the war, he was disillusioned with the direction of politics in the UK. He happened to read Hayek's Road to Serfdom and was so impressed, he immediately set off to track him down at the London School of Economics.
Hayek told Fisher not to go into politics, but to wage the war of ideas, to try to change the climate of opinion by reaching out to intellectuals, journalists, teachers and writers. Fisher then made his fortune in chicken farming, and in 1955 he founded the IEA. He recruited Ralph Harris and Arthur Selden, and the rest, so to speak, is history.
This rather unlikely cabal of subversives toiled away, brilliantly reviving and reinventing the argument for economic freedom. But they were derided as crazy outsiders, railing against an unshakable post-war consensus. At this time, a choking fog of Keynesianism hung over Britain. All major industries were nationalised. The ports, shipbuilding, trains, railways, canals, ferries, buses, airports, car making, steel making, coal, oil, gas. What little free enterprise was left was bled and hampered with taxes and output quotas and price controls. What had not long ago been the most dynamic economy in history, the workshop of the world, was now derelict and on its knees, the sick man of Europe. But a determined young politician from Grantham was starting to spend an awful lot of time at Lord North Street, soaking up the IEA's ideas. The IEA is not an ordinary think tank. It doesn't just make a few policy suggestions. It provokes a new way of thinking. It changes the ground on which ideological battles are fought. It shifts the mood. Margaret Thatcher understood this better than anyone and credited Fisher as she entered Downing Street, saying, "You created the atmosphere which made our victory possible."
The IEA produced serious research by some of the world's leading academics, and this led to changes in policy. The government accepted the need to combat inflation, that the government shouldn't control prices and incomes policies, that exchange controls should be abolished, and that large swathes of nationalised industries should be privatised.
But Dad didn't stop there. In 1981, he founded the Atlas Economic Research Foundation to help start think tanks all around the world. Today, the Atlas network connects over 400 think tanks in more than 80 countries worldwide.
In 1994, Oliver Letwin MP wrote, "Without Fisher, no IEA. Without the IEA and its clones, no Thatcher, and quite possibly no Reagan. Without Reagan, no Star Wars. Without Star Wars, no economic collapse of the Soviet Union." Quite a chain of consequences for a chicken farmer.
Nobody could be more proud of my father and the IEA than I am. I work with people all around the world who believe that the IEA is the father of all free market think tanks.
In the 1980s, looking back on the revolution she led, Margaret Thatcher paid her dues to Fisher, Selden and Harris. Echoing Churchill's Battle of Britain speech, she said, "They were the few, but they were right, and they saved Britain."